Hey guys, happy Wednesday to everyone. I wanted to come on and make a video, kind of chat with you guys, um, kind of kill two birds with one stone because I want to chat with you guys, but I also want to share with you guys Janika's flexibility because I've had multiple people ask me because I have talked in videos about the fact that she's different than the original edition that Claire made of this baby. And so I thought this would be a good time to do it. So I'm going to take her out of this adorable, I still got her in this adorable little sleeper. I really love it on her. She's so cute. Now, one of the things that I will tell you prior to me showing you how flexible she is that one, I don't generally handle my dolls this way. And that's kind of the topic of conversation that I want to have, actually. Is about, how we handle our dolls, especially like silicone dolls. I mean, reborns are pretty resilient, I think, but I just thought it'd be fun to kind of chat about how different collectors like to handle their dolls, whether it be reborn, whether it be, silicone. Probably mainly silicone is what I'm talking about, because even though silicone is a very durable material, it still needs to be handled with care, especially these dolls, depending on, what kind of silicone they're made with, and also, their age. I mean, there's a lot of factors, I think, that go into how long dolls will last us. And for me, especially with the fact that, they're so expensive, is I don't want to ever do anything that could potentially damage them in any way, shape, or form. So I'm very, very cautious about the way I handle my dolls. I always have been. But I've noticed, I watch many channels on YouTube, and I have noticed that there are a lot of people that don't necessarily handle their dolls with care, I would say. I mean, I watch certain videos, and I literally cringe with how different people either handle their own dolls or allow others to handle their dolls. And I find it a little, I don't know, I find it disturbing. Even though it's not my doll, I know it's not my right to really complain. But I guess because we buy on the secondary market, you really never know how someone really truly handles and cares for their dolls behind the videos, or, when they're in their private home, or when they're sharing their dolls with friends and family members. So I guess that's kind of what mortifies me as a buyer of expensive silicone dolls. I want to know that they were handled well and that they're not going to fall apart when I get my hands on them. Because that's how I obtain a lot of my dolls, is through the secondary market. I mean, the only guarantees you have is when you buy directly from the artist. And even then, some artists don't stand behind their work. So it's just one of those scary topics that I think that it's really important for us as collectors to feel comfortable to talk about. And everybody can have a different opinion on it, and I'm cool with that. But I'm also allowed to have my own opinion as well. So, I don't know. But Janika is down to her diaper, and here she is. You can see that her arms are very soft. So the original edition was done in a platinum silicone that was a more firm silicone. And I've had many of those. If you go back far enough on my channel, you see multiples. But she really is super squishy, so you can really just bend her if you really wanted to. So I'm going to kind of take her sideways to show you guys that you can bend her skin, and her skin wrinkles. So if you can see, I'm hoping the lighting is enough where you can kind of see where her skin wrinkles when you bend it through here. Like just every bit of her silicone tends to wrinkle, which is cool. It's one of those really neat features of Claire's amazing, awesome, special blend silicone. And so I'm going to pick her up, and like I said, like I prefaced by saying, this is not how I ever handle her. I'm just showing you this way of picking her up so you guys can see how her silicone flexes. So I'm just going to lift her up and just show you guys just how much her silicone just bends. But that's not how I would generally handle her at all. And she's not like a super heavy baby. But she's heavy enough that, if I just laid her there long enough, she literally would bend around my hands. But I don't pick you up that way. No, I do not. But she is super, super flexible. She's, her silicone is so soft that you can literally curl her up into a little ball, which is what I love about this baby. I think she's just magnificent. I think it's, like I had mentioned in, I think, my details video of her, that I think it, from what Claire had explained to me about this baby, is that her original dream, her original, idea when she was creating this baby was to have her done in soft silicone. And it was just too early for it. I mean, it hadn't been out. It would have been like the first doll done in really super soft silicone, other than I think a Julie Malloy baby at the time. I think hers weren't even soft at the time compared to what they are now. And so I really think that the soft silicone was Claire's vision for this baby. It just, she, I think, was polling different collectors that were on the list for her. And here's her back, you guys. Her back, which is super flexible. And so I think that's why she just stuck with making the original edition with the more firm silicone. It's still beautiful silicone because, even now, with the original edition being, I don't know, when was it done? 2011? I think that's when she started the edition. And the dolls still today, the silicone, if treated properly, the silicone is amazing and beautiful and still just as nice. I've seen dolls that are just as nice as the day they were made many years later. So that to me just is awesome. But, back to kind of how we handle our babies. I put mitts, hand mitts on when I'm dressing them. I always have for a really long time. I love seeing more and more people doing that in the community. I think that that's a good way to really protect our investment. But it's also, certain artists are okay with you bathing the doll. I've never bathed any of my dolls. I just don't want to. I'm fearful that it could potentially cause an issue with either the matting. It's usually the matting, especially with a lot of handling, the matting can come off. I've not had a problem with any of my dolls having that happen when I've had the doll, but I've received dolls with literally their matting has come off and they're very shiny. But it also depends on the artist. So depending on what types of paints they use, you handle your dolls improperly. One, the matting will come off. Two, the paint may even come off, because it is an issue with certain artist dolls that I've had in the past, never with Claire's dolls. And I've even had a conversation with her, and she agrees 100%. If the doll is painted properly and cured properly, then the paint should not come off, no matter how much you handle the doll. Like the matting, that's kind of, wear and tear, I believe, because matting is just basically the finishing, to make them not shiny, because silicone by itself without anything else on it is shiny. But I think that it's important just to always, handle with caution. Handle like you would a real living baby. And I think that's the wording that Claire uses in her care instructions that she sends home with each baby. And I would agree with that. And I have never had an issue with any dolls if I handle them really, really carefully. And I just, and just using caution. And I try to dress them like I would dress a living baby, which can be a chore in itself because silicone can be tricky, but especially silicones that tend to be sticky, they can be really difficult to dress. But luckily this baby, she doesn't need powder. She doesn't need anything because she's matted so beautifully and her silicone is so soft and smooth. But with other silicones I've had that tackier kind of silicone where, I'd make sure I'd powder them before I handled them. Different things that I would know would make it smoother, an easier transition of getting their clothing on them. But, just some things to keep in mind. I don't know. It's just an interesting discussion just because the more videos that I watch, the more I see a varying degrees of how people handle their dolls. And it also tends to go towards the type of collector that you are. Like I'm one that will sit and hold and rock my silicones. but I don't overly dress them, and I don't overly handle them without wrapping them in a blanket and things like that. So even if I'm sitting cuddling her or rocking her, she's usually got, like, I like having her in pajamas, because it keeps her silicone covered for the most part, and then I wrap her in a blanket and swaddle her, so then I'm kind of just holding her and rocking her without, rubbing on the silicone. I don't know. There's just different precautions, I guess, that I take with my dolls, even though I'm handling them. But a lot of people don't. They like to handle them, silicone to skin. And I always think in the back of my mind is the oil from our hands and our skin, and potentially lotions and perfumes that we put on our skin. Is it being transferred onto the silicone? Does it have an effect on them? That is the way I think as a collector. I always have, because ultimately time will definitely tell what, these dolls are exposed to and how long they last us. But for what I have invested in this doll, I want her to last like forever, if I could help it, So I don't know. That's just kind of the way I think, I guess, as a collector. I'm just super cautious, and some people aren't as much. And I just find it interesting because there's such a wide array of types of collectors and how we handle our dolls and the things we do with our dolls, all sorts of things. And yeah, I just think it's an interesting discussion is all. And what prompted it is because I was watching some videos, and I was just, a little bit horrified by some of the videos that I saw and how people handle their dolls, especially expensive silicones. You're very precious. And I just would never handle her in a way, or allow small children to handle my dolls, or, other family members that don't understand the value of the doll. Like, I'm generally not one that wants anybody to touch my dolls anyways. So I'm a little OCD, guys. I think I've told you that before. But look at this little sweet baby. Is she not the cutest little thing you've ever seen? I just love her. I do. I just love you so much. That face. So yeah, so hopefully that gives you an idea of her flexibility, so you can see how her silicone moves. She does not have the, squishy tummy that, the super soft squishy tummy that some of Claire's babies have, but her silicone is so soft that it is like really, really squishy, which is awesome. But it also makes her super cuddly to hold. He's such a good baby. So I hope, that was a decent discussion, not just rambling on, hopefully. And that now that you've seen little Miss Janika's flexibility, for those out there that wanted to see it, that you're happy with seeing what I provided. It is pouring rain here, and that's why I'm casting a shadow. It's so nasty outside, you guys. It's ridiculous. I just can't even stand it. But it is fall, so it is what it is. But I hope everybody's having a great work week. And Miss Janika and I will see you guys all very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.